All right. Hey, everybody. This is Brian Finnerty here from Macabre Daily, your resident mental health therapist by day, spooky horror writer by night. I'm super happy to be here with filmmaker Troy Escamilla today. He's here to talk to us about a couple big projects he has coming up. Um, Troy is a filmmaker based out of Las Vegas, correct?
First, yeah. I live in Las Vegas. But first, thank you for having me on. This is exciting. This is a nice little break from the drudgery I've been working on here for the last couple of weeks. Not drudgery, good drudgery, but drudgery that has my brain almost fried. So I'm excited to be able to talk to somebody about about something, anything.
Absolutely. Make it feel real by actually talking to somebody instead of just
Yeah,
like being stuck in your little bubble of the project.
staring at spreadsheets and yeah, perfect.
So yeah, so like just to review some of the things people might know you from is you are just finishing up your fourth feature film.
Yeah.
Three previous movies, Party Night,
hmm
Mrs. Claus, and Teacher Shortage. Uh,
Correct. All three of them. It's kind of interesting. All three of them were filmed basically kind of back to back. I did like one film, kind of three in a row, each one per year, like starting back in 2016, 2017, 2018. Um, they're all right now available on Tubi. They're all back up on Tubi to watch for free. We all indie horror lovers love Tubi. I mean, you can find so much stuff on there, including my three films. So if you haven't seen them, they are on there. Yeah, and now Hollow Lake is deep into post-production. We filmed it last June, so it's been over a year. We're taking a little bit of time with this one because as a filmmaker, I've always said like I strive to grow and to learn from the filmmaking process. And rushing three films out, back to back. Um, I wanted to take a little bit more time with this one to kind of show people, hey, this dude's improving his craft because there's so many filmmakers you see that necessarily don't take the time to do that. So
Mm.
it's important to me that I grow with each film.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Like if, as you said, if you're putting them out one after another, you
Mhm.
probably don't even have a chance to like take a breath and reflect on the previous
Yeah.
project before you just jump
Yeah.
into the next one.
I was a, a new filmmaker. I was just eager to get the stuff out there. I had distributors that were willing to put the stuff out. So I'm like, oh, we got to get it out. We don't need to spend a year on the editing process. Let's just get it out. As I've gotten older and, I've gotten more intertwined in the indie horror community, I think it's a little bit more important to uh, sometimes value, or for me, always value quality over quantity. So, Hollow Lake is a film that's truly important to me. I think the message behind it is really important. So, it is a film I kind of want to take a little bit more of care with in getting it out there.
Yeah, definitely. So I wonder if just to start kind of very basically for people who aren't familiar with Hollow Lake, could you just give us like the elevator pitch, a quick synopsis of what to expect?
Yeah, Hollow Lake is a very, very gay themed horror film. I've always described it as kind of a cross between it's like a gay version of The Strangers. It has a heavy home invasion vibe to it, kind of a dark atmospheric home invasion style vibe to it. But it is at the surface, it's just about a couple who are newlyweds, Max and Baker, who
Hmm.
already are kind of experiencing some issues in their relationship. And so they think that by maybe um, bringing somebody else into the relationship for kind of a little tryst, that it might spice up their life. So they go away to a weekend lake house. They meet somebody. They have this tryst. They think, oh, that's it. We're done. We don't have to worry about it anymore. They invite another couple to the lake house, and unfortunately, um, based on their decision, uh, the weekend doesn't turn out to be a very fun or relaxing one. Yeah, it triggers into motion a whole bunch of horrific events.
course. Well, it's a horror movie, right? So
Yeah,
if it all
yeah,
went as planned, it'd be kind of boring.
absolutely. So lots of blood is shed, lots of, horrible things happen to the characters, but
Yeah.
I think it's a fun one, and it's one that, like I said, you don't. It's timely because of the themes it deals with, like with the LGBT, QIA plus uh, what's happening right now in our country. I think it's kind of really
Hmm.
important that this film does actually touch on a lot of the themes that are kind of at the forefront of a lot of people's minds right now.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's as I'm sure you're well aware, there's such a history in horror of like subtext and very subtle messaging around the queer community. And that's fantastic. But I think, as you said, now probably more than ever, I think a lot of people feel like it's very important to just move past the subtext and just be very clear that like
Yes.
oh God, the cliche of we're here, we're queer, get
But
used to
no.
it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you got to be bold. Skip the subtext and get right to, the themes that are super important to us as gay horror fans. I've always pondered why there aren't more blatant gay themed horror films out there because there are so many, this gay horror fans out there, and so many gay horror filmmakers that, for in the past weren't really making films for a gay audience. What I've come to realize and what I've come to really appreciate is now, I would say in the last maybe 5 years, you are seeing a lot of gay queer horror filmmakers tackling those themes, and it really, really makes me happy. Makes me happy.
yeah, definitely. I wonder if maybe you could talk about your kind of personal or professional journey a little bit as a queer filmmaker, because I know in watching some of your other movies, it feels like this has been a progression for you. Like in your first movie, Party Night, I don't believe there was no queer representation. I think in Mrs. Claus, was there maybe one gay character?
There was
Um,
Tyler. Tyler was the token gay.
yeah, we gotta have the token gay.
Yeah.
But then in Teacher Shortage, like you took it even a step further and had like a very central gay couple in the story um and a final boy, right?
Yeah.
Who was a gay man.
We need
So
more. We need more final boys. I was super thrilled to be able to have a final boy. Hey, I love a good final girl. I mean, I'm an Amy Steele, Jenny, Friday the 13th Part 2. She is my favorite final girl of all time. That's why the final girl in Party Night is named Amy because I named her
oh,
after Amy
okay.
Steele. Yes. So, but you know what? Give me a good old final boy and a gay one at that. That's battling it out with another gay, and it's just yeah, no, it was progressively gayer. And I always kind of knew as a gay filmmaker that I wanted to eventually explore those stories in my films.
Hmm.
But, I think coming out with my first film, I think a lot of gay filmmakers might have the apprehension to come right out of the gate with a gay, bold film because they don't want to like isolate anybody. And I know that's horrible to say, but back in 2016 when I did Party Night, I was very much there. I was like, oh, I don't know if I
Yeah.
want, people, blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
so
we have to acknowledge the reality of that stuff, right? You can't just pretend it's not there.
absolutely, because you are going to alienate a bunch of people. I'm going to alienate a bunch of people with Hollow Lake. And on one hand, I'm kind of worried about it.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, I don't give a shit. And I made it blatantly gay for a reason. But put a pin on that because I do want to say, like, yes, my films have gotten progressively gayer. Mrs. Claus, I thought was a nice opportunity to bring in a gay character in the character of Tyler, who
Hmm.
Jace Greenwood is the actor who portrayed Tyler and did a fantastic job. But yeah, teacher shortage. I made the very conscious decision to have a gay couple and kind of this illicit affair that would be taboo, principal
Yeah.
and teacher in this small town. And so there was, on one hand, it was making a statement about that, but then on the other hand, the bigger hand, teacher shortage is really making a statement about the state of our education system.
Mhm.
Um, and unfortunately, nothing has changed since I made teacher shortage. So that's the sad reality. Probably, in fact, it's gotten worse. So
I
yeah,
was definitely thinking that as I was
yeah.
watching it the other night, and
Well, yeah, it's just so funny because I've had so many people, like teachers, that'll reach out to me and be like, "Oh my God, you," or any in reviews be like, "Whoever directed this has to be a teacher," because the dialogue and the conversations they have are things that I've heard countless times from either my principal or sitting in department meetings, and that's the sad reality of the education system. Like the whole conversation in teacher shortage about pressuring to give 50s instead of zeros.
Mm.
Um, that I mean, I was pressured into by a department chair to give, 50, give kids 50s instead of zero so that they wouldn't fail.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's a lot of just personal experiences kind of piled into the teacher shortage script because
yeah.
I've been in public education for 20 years. So yeah.
And like one of the things I appreciated about teacher shortage, and I wonder if this comes out in Hollow Lake at all, is I think you as a gay filmmaker, it's like this in any marginalized community. It's like we're allowed to be kind of sassy and snarky about our own people, whereas other people maybe can't. And
Yeah.
I felt like in teacher shortage, I don't want to give anything away, but there was a fantastic scene that I loved where a gay character is about to get killed, and literally his final line is the
Oh,
comment on how fucking sexy he thinks the person who's about to kill him is. And I was like, only a gay man would still be
only
trying to get laid as
exactly.
he's about
Hey,
to get killed.
hey, if you're gonna get killed by somebody, they better fucking be sexy, right? I mean, come on. Yeah, no, that's a fun little line, and I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember if that was ad-libbed or not.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't remember. It could be in the script. I haven't looked at the script for a long time, but it could have been ad-libbed. But the more I think about it, I think it probably was in the script.
Yeah. But then in Hollow Lake, it sounds like you're taking another kind of trope of gay culture, the idea of like having a threesome or an open relationship, and you're like exploring that in a
There,
way that is, sounds like messy, not just
I,
all rainbows and sunshine.
No, and here's the thing is I probably will piss off a bunch of homophobes. Like I can't wait till the first couple screenings of Hollow Lake when there's a specific scene in the film that goes on and on and on. And it's I think right now we have it timed out at about nine minutes.
Okay.
Um so I just am so I just want to see how many people walk out of this particular scene. And like I said, on one hand, I'm kind of worried about it, but on the other hand, you know what? As a gay man growing up watching horror films or watching films in general, how many freaking sex scenes between a man and a woman have I had to sit through?
Hmm.
I mean, so here's my response to that. Here's a 9 minute sex scene. Have fun with it. I want to see how many people walk out. But like, so there's going to be a whole group of people that aren't going to watch the film because it's a gay film and it's heavily gay.
Hmm.
Like when I say gay, I mean super, super gay. And I mean, we don't have a female in the cast. There is not a female in the cast at all. It's
Okay.
all men. Uh, so there you go. But on the other hand, I think I'm also gonna piss off a lot of a lot of gays
Yeah.
themselves because the film does confront a lot of what we want to say are stereotypes and cliches in the gay culture, particularly with gay men. But guess what? Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason.
Hmm.
And this film makes no qualms about confronting a lot of the kind of negativity and negative stereotypes that surround the gay community, if that makes sense. I mean, we're talking the film, if more than anything, is a character study between these characters and gay relationships.
Yeah.
I will say we take a long time with the characters. It was really a goal of mine for the audience to really not necessarily like the characters, but have an attachment to them, get to know them as real people.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to spoil anything, but we go about 50 minutes into the film before any horror happens.
Okay.
I mean, it is definitely the first half is a slow build character driven plot, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah. And that sounds
But
like
it
a
also,
very intentional choice, right? And yeah,
yeah, but it also is going to make people confront a lot of maybe things that, they do in their personal lives that I don't know. Yeah, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. So I'm going to piss a whole bunch of people off with the film. So yay.
you know what? If it's that's what artists supposed to do. We're supposed to feel something, right?
Exactly.
And I do think, I mean, number one, I think that's one of the benefits of a genre film in general, but specifically horror, is it really is that perfect vehicle to like to challenge things like in uncomfortable ways, right? We don't go to horror movies to feel totally relaxed in our bodies and our minds. We go there to feel uncomfortable in one way or another. And it sounds like you're leaning into that.
Absolutely. I hope so. I hope so.
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll
It
see.
sounds like, and tell me uh if I'm off, but it sounds like I'm curious about the tone of the film. It sounds like it's pretty like straightforward, serious horror as opposed to kind of like campy or horror comedy.
It's not campy at all. It
Mm,
definitely is a more serious tone. It's a more dark tone.
mm,
I know a lot of gay films that have come out in the last couple years um, are leaning into like the flashiness of the gay scene and the gay culture. I'm
mhm.
thinking of like Death Drop Gorgeous, which I absolutely love that movie. And Roger Connors, my sister, my podcast co-host, who just had his premiere of his film Meat,
Yep.
which I attended, and it's a spectacular movie. It's the gay. I think if you're a slasher fan, you're gonna love Meat. Period.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, like when I kind of thought when I decided I was going to go through with Hollow Lake, and Roger has been on board since I started to think about it, and he's in the film. Roger is cast in the film.
Hmm.
Um, he offered for me to come to Cleveland and shoot the film, and I was really hesitant at first because I was like, Roger, I don't want to work with the same people you did, and I don't
Mm.
because these are two, gay slasher films, basically. And all people are going to be like, oh, they're copying each other, blah blah blah. But then I realized, Hollow Lake is completely different than Meat.
Yeah.
And I know Roger had that hesitation too. He's like, yeah, I don't want people to, but when they're completely different tonally, visually. Meat is very colorful, and
Mm.
I mean, like I said, he's leaning into that the vibes, the colorful, exciting vibes. Meat is so colorful. Hollow Lake is the complete opposite. It's muted. The characters are a little bit more subdued.
Mm.
So yeah, it's definitely a different type of film than let's say Mead or a lot of the other gay slashers that have come out.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned flashy and like I thought of meat immediately because literally the slasher's face is covered in
Yeah. Oh,
metallic studs, right? So that's as
exactly.
flashy as it gets.
What an iconic look already he created. Yeah, my
Um,
the antagonist in Hollow Lake doesn't wear a mask. It's
mhm.
not a masked slasher, um, which I think it oftentimes makes it a little bit more scary because
Yeah.
the actor is so great at just delivering so many different emotions on his face. Again, can't wait for people to see the film. It's been again, I can't believe it's been a year, and but soon. I can say soon. We're working on some stuff right now. I strongly believe there will be a screening of the film before the end of the year.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously you have to let us know when it's available
Oh,
so
oh,
we
I will.
can review it and put out all the publicity. Um,
Absolutely.
I, I did want to go back for a second and kind of go back to that idea of flashy or not. And obviously the movie's not available yet, so I haven't seen it, but from the material that I have seen, some of the posters and the clips, that was definitely uh, something that occurred to me was it felt like, yeah, the color palette was mo more subdued, the environment, it seems like it takes place like much more like in a almost a rural setting, and then even like the characters, the way that they're dressed and made up. Um, it's it's like a super attractive bunch of guys, but not necessarily what your mainstream audience thinks of when they think of like a gay movie, right? I think
Yeah.
we still to this day get this picture in our mind of, I don't know, like the cast of like Queer as Folk, or even like Hellbent, to think of a
Oh.
horror movie. And that didn't seem to be the vibe you were going for with your cast. Like they're much more diverse in body types, in skin color, in like how conventionally attractive or made up they were.
Mhm.
And was is that kind of intentional on your part?
Yeah, I think it was important for me to, if I was going to go full gay with this film, I wanted to, um, yeah, lean into the idea that, you know what, you may have misconceptions of what a gay man is.
Hmm.
So I wanted to lean into showing that, you know what, I'm not. I think I'm like one of the least gay gay guys ever. I mean, I don't lean into a lot of the stuff that you see in our community that's valued, and
Hmm.
trends and stuff like that. I'm totally not a part of that. So I wanted to more. It was more important for me to like portray um, the relationships in the film as I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use this word, normal,
Yeah.
from an outsider looking in. Oh my gosh, look at these guys. They're just, they're guys. They just happen to be gay. They're in relationships, but it's not like defining their personalities, things like
Hmm.
that. So yeah, it was very important for me to get the cast to be more I don't know, more grounded,
Hmm.
and so that, yeah, and I think the cast is fabulous. I will say I could not have imagined a better group.
Hmm.
They are fantastic on screen together. Chemistry is off the charts. Obviously, performance-wise, yeah, I I it, I couldn't have I couldn't have had a better cast. It was such a treat to work with them all.
Hmm. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see it. Um, I know we could probably talk about the movie all day, but I know you're working on another big project right now that I want to make sure we leave a little bit of time for,
Yeah.
and that's the Houston Horror Film Festival, right?
Yes, the Houston Horror Film Festival, which is set for August 8th through the 10th.
Hmm.
For the last couple of years, it has been in August, generally that second week in August. Uh, all I can say about the Houston Film Festival is when we started it, we had no clue how huge this was going to get.
Hmm.
In just a short, I think our first one was the first like live one was 2021. We were
Right.
supposed to have one in 2020. COVID happened. Um, but I will say it's just cultivated into something just huge,
Yeah.
huge. And
Uh,
I give credit to my partner Tony Rodriguez. He's not my partner. Uh, he's the film festival, Houston Horror Film Festival partner. Me and him started it, and then brought another gentleman, Scott, on board. All the credit to them for building this into what it has become. My little role in the whole thing is I run the actual film festival
mhm.
part of the event. So there's kind of like three different branches. There's the convention with all of the celebrities. Okay, so
Okay.
Tony is responsible for booking all the celebrities, bringing them in. He also does all of the marketing, creating all the amazing graphics for the event.
Mhm.
Scott is in charge of the vendors because we have over 100 vendors there
Oh,
over the
wow.
course of the weekend. So he's organizes that. And then I work on the film festival. I am the one who ultimately, using judges' input, I select the films that we screen over the course of the weekend. I
Okay.
create the screening schedule. Right now, before I hopped on with you, I was working on the nominations for the feature films and short films because we do have an award ceremony.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm in the film room all weekend. I facilitate the Q&A with the filmmakers who are in attendance. So that's my duty, and it's time consuming. I mean, it's something it's all year because once the film ends, we open submissions again for the next year. And of
Yeah,
course, you have to watch all the submissions. And this year we had, a record number, and I literally watched them all. Um, so it's a big undertaking, but oh my God, is it a blast. If you've never been able to attend the Houston Horror Film Festival, you must attend the Houston Horror Film Festival.
absolutely. We'll put it on the calendar for next year.
Oh, absolutely. You have a blast.
What would you say are maybe like some of the biggest joys or challenges of organizing a film festival?
It motivated me to actually make Hollow Lake.
Okay.
There for a while, I was not going to do another film.
Yeah.
After, I wanted to do Hollow Lake back in like 2020, and then COVID happened, and I had run a crowdfunder for it, and it wasn't successful. So I got bummed. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do another film.
Mm.
Um, but then it just kind of being able to interact with these filmmakers and hear their stories and how they were able to get their films made, with less resources than what I had. And it really motivated me. So I think the biggest joy of running the film festival is being able to just interact and network with other indie filmmakers and I've seen so many great films over the course of the last 5 years. I watched them all, and unfortunately, we can't select them all.
Yeah.
This year we only selected 63 films, and we had well over, I mean, I don't want to say how many, but we had hundreds submitted. Um, and so it's a joy to be able to view all of these films and know that indie horror is not dead at all. Um, but also
It's like very much
interact.
the opposite.
Yes, and interact with the filmmakers, get inspired by them. And it's always fun to get like a first-time filmmaker who, it's their first screening of the film and to see their excitement and be able to be part of that. That's the thing I love.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled that I get to just I get to deal with the films. I don't have to deal with celebrities or vendors or anything like that. I can just deal with the films and I love it. So.
Do you, I hope this isn't putting you on the spot because I'm sure you love all the movies, but are there maybe like a couple that you're really excited about showing at the festival?
You know what I'm gonna say? I don't want to single a film out. I will say I think our features this year
Mm,
are particularly strong and diverse. Like, wow, what a diverse! We have 8 features screening, and
okay.
just what a diverse group of films. We have one screening that's from the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
I mean, it's just the features this year are spectacular. I can't wait to see the audience reaction to some of them.
Yeah.
And
Great.
the shorts are too. We have some short screening that are gonna get people really like, ugh, again, gagging, talking, laughing. I can't wait.
I love the short films at film festivals. I know they don't always get as many eyeballs on them, but I mean, I think just because of the medium, it just
But
lets people be so much more experimental and just do these wild, surprising things. It's so cool.
right, and oftentimes you have to keep in mind there's really no distributor for short films.
Hmm.
So sometimes the only way these short films get seen is by festival screenings.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned just the diversity of the features. Obviously we were talking about it with gay movies and the queer community, but we're seeing a boom of diverse films from just all areas, just different gender filmmakers, people from different cultures, ethnicities, countries.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear that it's like really coming out in some of the festivals.
Oh yeah, definitely. Our lineup this year is very international. I mean, we have films from like the Netherlands, Spain,
Hmm.
it's crazy. Mexico always submits some really great films. Like I'm always impressed with what we get submitted from Mexico.
Yeah. So, I can't remember if we mentioned it earlier, if it was off or if it was off camera, but your day job is you're a teacher, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I work in public education. Technically, I'm a librarian at a middle school.
okay.
So yeah, but I was an English teacher for like 10 years. So and then I kind of wanted to get out of the classroom, and so I got my degree in library science, and I've been doing that for the last 10
Yeah.
years, and it's been an interesting journey.
So I know one of the things I wanted to ask was, have any of your students seen your movies?
Yes,
What
not
are they?
currently because I'm at a middle school, but when I lived in Houston, I was at a high school, and a couple
Mhm.
of the kids did find out that I was a filmmaker and sought out my films, and I was like, oh crap, I'm going to be fired. Uh, but luckily, I was
You
not.
weren't, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, because I mean, especially, well, I will say I was always worried about the opening scene of Mrs. Claus, which was originally was my title was Stirring. Um, and even I remember my mom, bless her heart, rest in peace, when she read the script, she wanted me to take out the opening
Mm,
like prank because she thought it was going to be too graphic and it would cause issues if someone from a school district watched it. Um, Wild Eye, the distributor, actually cut several seconds out of the opening scene of Mrs. Claus. So on one hand, it sucks because you can't really tell what's going on.
yeah.
In the original Stirring version, it's really very graphic,
Okay.
very graphic. It involves a black dildo. It's super graphic. Probably uncomfortably so, but the actress wanted to go for it. She's like, if I'm
Yeah.
going to do this, I'm going to do it. Luckily, Wild I cut it. So if somebody from my school district finds it and watches it, you can't even tell what's going on because they cut it out. So I
So
guess that's the good thing.
the downside is they cut it. The good side is they may have unintentionally saved your job.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, Hollow Lake might totally undo that because it's pretty graphic. Hollow Lake is going to be by far my most graphic film.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see it.
I mean, even though there's only a handful of characters in the film, it does not have the body count that Teacher Shortage or Mrs. Claus does. We made up for it with the violence that we depict on these poor men. So be prepared.
Well, I applaud your bravery and willingness to just just like be yourself and like fuck it, right? You're just making
Right?
the movie you want to make.
Exactly. That's what you got to do at this point. Yep.
Um, you know, obviously I'm sure we could talk all day, but the parameters of the interview structure. So before we start to wrap up, could you just let people know, particularly with Hollow Lake and with the film festival, how can people follow online? How can people keep up to date on when they can see the movie?
Yeah, you know what? I'm really hoping that I'm going to have some big news within hopefully the next week
Okay.
regarding Hollow Lake. And like I said, I am 99.999% sure that there will be a screening before the end of the year.
Hmm.
Probably more than one, hint, hint. So if you want to know about that, you can always follow my social media accounts. I'm Troy ESC on Instagram.
Okay.
Uh, Facebook, you can search for Hollow Lake, the movie on Facebook. There is a group devoted to the movie. There's
Hmm.
a Instagram for the movie. Anything regarding the movie will be announced on those platforms. Um, yeah, the Houston Horror Film Festival. Just Google it, and you're going to find everything you need to know about it. You can follow the Instagram. I don't run any of the social media platforms. Tony does an
Okay.
amazing job with that. Um, we do have the podcast. Me and Roger host Dark Night of the Podcast, which is
Hmm.
available on all your podcatchers. Any news related to our movies, we usually do discuss on the podcast. So, in fact, we did a episode from Roger's house after the meet screening to kind of talk about how it went and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's an outlet. Um, and yeah, so hopefully, like I said, there will be news very soon regarding Hollow Lake
Nice. And
and and possibly another film because you know what? Why not?
all right.
I need to do. I've had the script done for years, and I have a poster I made because originally I was going to do it. Mrs. Claus 2. It has to happen. It has to happen. It has to happen.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Keep
Right?
keep an eye out for film number 5 from Troy
Right.
Escamilla.
Hopefully, yes. Absolutely.
And then yeah, obviously we'll put up information on the Macabre Daily website about all this stuff as well. So
Perfect.
look for details there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to talk horror with me.
Absolutely, anytime. And yeah, thank you, Troy. I really, really appreciate you chatting with us.
Absolutely. Anytime. Anytime.
All right, you take care of yourself and goodbye, everybody.
All right.